All right, everybody, it's Thursday, and that means you pop the top on Steve Austin Show Unleashed. Thanks for downloading the show. We're going to get started right after I help you out with a great last-minute gift idea. ManGreat.com. The ManGreat is a 100% cast iron grill grate that sits right on top of your existing grill. And before you start giving me lip about, well, why do I need to put another grate on top of my barbecue grate? You need to do it because I said so, and that's the bottom line. All right, now, the real reason is because ManGreat's patented design is going to turn you into a professional griller. All the meat you put on that thing will come off tender and juicy with perfect sear marks every single time you grill. And you won't have any flare-ups either. The ManGreat gives you steakhouse restaurant quality right at your own home. So no matter what you're grilling, and I grill lots of stuff, deer sausage, burgers, steaks, with the ManGreat, it'll taste great every time. And if you go to ManGreat.com right now, you can take advantage of this special offer. Because you listen to the Steve Austin Show Unleashed, you can get the ManGreat for just $19.99. And also for a limited time, for every 3 ManGreats you order, you get a 4th ManGreat for free. Just go to ManGreat.com and enter my coupon code Steve at checkout. That's all you need to do to get the ManGreat for $19.99. Just enter Steve at checkout. This is a great gift idea for anyone who likes to barbecue. And, hey, it's like giving a gift to yourself, too, because you'll get to eat all that great grilling. So go to ManGreat.com and use my promo code Steve and get a ManGreat for just $19.99. That's ManGreat.com and use the promo code Steve at checkout.
The following program is a podcast1.com production.
He started in a small town in Texas. Worked his ass off to become one of the most famous wrestlers of all time.
We're going to take care of business tonight, and that's the bottom line.
And now he's dominating the world of on-demand audio. And he's doing it for the working man.
This is a damn good outlet for me to spew the bullshit off my brain.
Yeah! This is the Steve Austin Show. Unleashed.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Steve Austin Show. I'm coming to you at the Broken Skull Ranch out here in Tilden, Texas, trying to get some work done. Got all kinds of projects going on out here at the BSR down here in South Texas. We are right in the middle of deer season. We're right in the middle of work season, trying to keep the ranch mowed, trying to get the fences patched, try to keep all the equipment running. I'm sitting out here with my buddy over here at his side of the crib over here, Ted Fowler 361 on Twitter. Teddy, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm fine.
I'll tell you what, Teddy, we tried to do this podcast last night right in the middle of Monday Night Raw.
Correct.
We was going to just roll the recorders and almost do like a thing of Mystery Science 3000. Remember when the two cats used to, or the three dudes used to sit there and watch the movie and then make comments while the movie was going on?
Right, I do remember.
Well, anyway, you were the official timekeeper, and I think about 2 hours in, we had had how many matches?
4.
About 4 matches at 2 hours, and, man, I'd like to see a little bit more than that. Now, 3 hours is a long-ass time for any show, especially pro wrestling. And back in my day, we were running about a 2-hour live show. And it was a pretty fast-moving show. I mean, if you blinked, the show was over, and you missed a lot of badass shit. I don't think the roster is that thin that they can't have more wrestling on there. The first segment lasted about 30 minutes. Now, they executed with perfection, and it was a damn good segment. But a 30-minute hook set almost drove me up the wall. It's one of the things I talked to Vince McMahon with when I went to talk to him in Tulsa on the WWE Network. It takes a long time to set that first hook, and I understand that they got to, run some angles. But, man, there's a lot of talk, and when it says, Monday Night Raw, and it's World Wrestling Entertainment, I'm expecting to see a little bit more wrestling. Now, Vince said, and you heard him, he was right there, Teddy, that he was in tune with the WWE Universe. Now, I'm in tune with what I dig, but I just like to see a little bit more wrestling than that. And, they're coming off a major pay-per-view with the tables, ladders, chairs match. They did, Teddy. The payoff at the end was worth the wait. Seth Rollins and John Cena had a badass cage match, a steel cage match. There's not an aluminum cage match. And those guys put it all on the line and went, 20, 25 minutes. And the night before, in a tables match, just went 25 or 30. So, man, I imagine John Cena is pretty much feeling like he's beat to death. But the main event was badass. Agreed?
Yeah, no, the main event was a very good match. And I didn't put it together until you reminded me that Cena had been in a badass match the night before. So to go back-to-back, I bet he was a little sore getting out of bed this morning.
Man, that dude's a warrior. Here's the thing that people don't understand. I've been a top guy. I know what it takes to stay on the road. And Paul Heyman brings this up a lot of times when he does his promos, and he cut an outstanding promo last night when he was going across from Jericho trying to weasel his way out of that match.
Correct.
And then, of course, at the end, when, Chris Jericho, who was the Raw general manager of the night, booked a match with him and Paul, the show was in Detroit, Rock City, as Chris Jericho said. And I was thinking, hey, man, Detroit, Michigan, kind of up in the neck of the woods where Brock Lesnar would be geographically located.
Right.
Will they fly Brock Lesnar into the show? And lo and behold, Paulie sprang a trap on Chris Jericho, and here comes big badass Brock walking down that aisle. I had a big smile on my face. And we were trying to record the podcast last night. I said, hey, we got to hit the stop button and see what happens here, because I knew it was going to happen. Chris Jericho was going to be on the receiving end of an F5, and he was.
Yeah.
He paid the price, and Paulie set him up from the get-go. So that was entertaining. But I always say this, let me digress, going to John Cena, being a top guy, being on the grind, on the road, 24/7, and I was living fast while I was doing it. To have the kind of run that he's having, and you watched him, you didn't get a chance to see the pay-per-view because I watched it on my iPad, and the iPad is too small for two guys of our size to sit there and share the same screen. I got to figure out how to get it on the TV. So anyway, you didn't get a chance to see that match. But, man, him and Seth Rollins gave it hell in that tables match. Lots of big, crazy bumps. Probably that and the ladder match between Dolph Ziggler and Luke Harper were the two best matches on the card. And when John Cena went to the ring, that arena was on fire. It was electric. Last night, in that cage match, you heard the shrill.
Yeah.
It's like a Rock and Roll Express type shrill. It's those kids, and it's like, all the chicks and it's the guys, too, that love John Cena. So, and then you get the let's go Cena sucks.
Right.
But,
right.
man, I mean, it's electric. And I'll tell you, man, it's not every night of the week that you get a crowd that responds like that to a particular talent. And he's been doing it for over 10 years. It ain't his fault. And I don't want to beat a dead horse because I talked about this on the last few podcasts. But, man, that dude's a rock star. And people don't understand what he puts his body through, putting it all on the line, taking the bumps that he takes, lifting the weights that he does. Man, he is a specimen, and he's a special cat. And I'm not just blowing smoke up his ass. I know because I've been there.
Cena gets a bad rap by, a lot of people because of all the time that he is on the screen. You watched the same product I did last night. If that had been 2 hours and 40 minutes, if that entire Monday Night Raw had only been 2 hours and 40 minutes, how good would it have been?
Well, and that they've got some great talent.
Oh, yeah,
but sometimes it's just a little overwritten.
Yeah, dude, but the last 20 minutes is when, the crowd really started reacting, really started getting into it. And it's Cena and Rollins, and it's Cena, doing his thing. You got to tip your hat to the guy.
I will tip my hat to Cena because he is the guy, and I'll tip my hat also to Seth Rollins, who's come light years since he broke out of the Shield, and for a while there, it seemed like Dean Ambrose was kind of the breakout guy after Roman Reigns was the breakout guy, but now Seth Rollins kind of the breakout guy with a lot of success as a single. So he's kicking ass. He's being mean. He's being vicious. One thing within the structure of that match in the steel cage last night, Teddy, I don't think that the WWE wants these heels to cheat too much. There's never any dirty, underhand tactics going on.
Correct. I mean, the closest thing we saw was when, his little pseudo stooges threw the suitcase, the briefcase, in there to him.
Yeah, but nothing physical by him.
No.
There's never a reverse mule kick.
An eye gouge. Yeah,
never a
like
choke.
That. No.
Never the cheap shot elbow.
Correct.
Nothing.
Nope. It's just straight up. It's like a boxing match, no fighting, no low blows, nothing to make you hate a heel for doing, some dastardly deed against,
Yeah, I mean, as much as
guy.
I'd like to hate Seth Rollins because, me knowing about the business, he's working heel, good-looking dude, good worker, but, out there, he
doesn't do anything to make you hate him.
Well, he can't. That's the point. And that's why, and it's not just him, it's everybody. So I just, from a guy who's been in the ring for a long time, when you can't break the rules, and I know he'd love to, That's just the thing. It's a hard pill to swallow for me as someone who used to do it, to try to watch. These guys try to exist in something where they're so confined and they can't get out of the box and cheat. And when you got to get out of the box to cheat, there's something wrong, because cheating was a big part of the game forever and ever.
Well, I remember talking to somebody who said you got to go out on a limb.
Yeah, well, that was someone in Tulsa, Oklahoma, about grabbing a brass ring. It's and again, it was great talking with Vince McMahon, but I think when I was watching that show, it's heavily scripted. It is what it is. Now it's shiny. It looks great.
Oh yeah.
It looks great, but it's just. It lacked a feel of spontaneity.
Correct.
It lacked the urgency, the sense of urgency that we used to have back in the day. And I always hate to say back in the day, but back in the day, you thought anything could happen because it was live. And these guys are live too, but the atmosphere is just a little bit different. I wish all these guys and gals could just go back 15 years in a time capsule and just, hey, go out there and fly without a net, and everything's okay.
I don't know how much ad-libbing they're doing to their script, but in my opinion, I would like to see them do more.
But I tell you what, I mean, there was some good promos. I mean, with respect to some of the content, some of the storylines get a little too complicated for my likings. I like things pretty simple and straightforward. But as orators, there were some wonderful speakers. As people who, were supposed to reach in and grab my guts and make me hate or love, then not so much.
Right,
Were they able to convey a message? Yes. But, I could have felt it a little more, and that's just being critical of the show. I think I've earned the right to be critical of the show. But nonetheless, Teddy, we're out here. We enjoyed the show.
Correct.
Enjoyed the show. I understand the strain of working a live 3-hour every single Monday night, doing 3 hours live TV. I know what they're doing today, filming SmackDown, and in the main event, however they tape that. All the stuff that they got going on. It's a wonder that those guys and gals are able to do what they're doing.
Oh, absolutely.
They're in a grind, they're in a machine, and they're kicking ass. So, swig a beer. All my respect to the young men and young women in the WWE and all the creative staff. It is what it is. I just have to break out of my caveman mode, whether it's the Cro-Magnon or the Neanderthal age, and realize that the business has changed. Don't know if it'll ever go back. The NXT model. People have been sending emails in to me asking if I've seen the NXT Revolution pay-per-view. I have not, but since I have my iPad, I'm going to go back and watch that, and I'll file a report. But some of the stuff that I have seen over there was very organic, would be the word. More wrestling, I think, would be a good word. And it wasn't quite as slick. It kind of felt a little bit more intimate. So you haven't seen hardly any NXT, right?
I have not seen a single NXT thing, but I want to. I need to.
Yeah.
I need to research that.
But what I'm getting on my Twitter feed, Steve Austin BSR, is they're digging that vibe, they're digging the content, and they're digging the fact that they're wrestling. They're telling some short and sweet promos, to the point, following a storyline, and going out there and executing. So anyway, that's the world that I come from, and they got it going over there. Swig a beer to the young cats over there in NXT, and good luck to all of you. One of these days, I've been meaning to go down there to Florida and check out the training center. It's one of the things that I got on my bucket list. And another thing I got on my list is moving on and telling you guys about a company that makes the greatest supplements on planet Earth. And that company is Onnit. Onnit makes Alpha Brain, and you guys know I take that every time I get ready to record a podcast. And I take it whenever I need to be razor sharp and focused. Alpha Brain also helps my memory. And after all the steel chair shots to my head, anything to help the memory is a good thing. And y'all also know I'm a big fan of Onnit Shroom Tech Sport. Take it for every workout. It helps me go longer and recover faster. And it's a great all-natural way to fight fatigue. And right now, if you go to onnit.com/Steve, you can get 10% off your order. And check this out. Onnit has a money-back guarantee. If something doesn't work the way it's supposed to, Onnit will give you your money back, no questions asked. So go ahead, try Alpha Brain, try Shroom Tech Sport, or give Onnit's T Plus a try. You ain't got nothing to lose. T Plus is designed to increase strength and power. It improves athletic performance and helps with muscle recovery. It's been clinically proven to work, and you can read all about that at onnit.com. T Plus has also been certified drug-free by the Banned Substances Control Group, and that means it's safe to use if you're competing. So go to onnit.com/Steve to get your 10% discount off all supplements. What are you waiting for, folks? Haul ass. to Onnit.com. ONNIT.com/Steve to get 10% off your order.
We party here.
We party big. We party now.
Yeah, get up on your microphone, Teddy. I went ahead and hit the record button because we're talking about taking deer out here at the Broken Skull Ranch.
Right.
And so we're looking at trying to manage our deer that we need to call out, the ones that we need to take. And we're going to take $15 this year.
Correct.
We shot 5. We have 10 left.
Correct.
And so you're talking about breaking down the bucks into
3 different age groups.
young, middle,
and mature. Yeah.
And it ain't like we done shot $5, and there was 1 mature buck out of that was
One
shot.
mature, yeah.
So theoretically, that would leave 4 mature bucks left.
Correct.
And we don't have 4 mature bucks that we need to shoot.
Not that we need to shoot.
Right.
I mean,
we could shoot.
We could shoot,
but
yeah.
I think we start dipping in. And we ain't got that. It's not like we have a deep roster.
No. And I mean, they're not exactly eyesores.
Right.
You know, there's some
in
good
a perfect world, they're great bucks for a lot of ranches.
Yeah,
we're not at the level our neighbor's at where he has just a deep roster.
Correct.
They're good deer, but you'd like to weed them out, but we're not at the place to be able to weed them out.
They're better deer than when you first bought the place.
Right.
And they're getting better every year.
Yeah.
You know, and eventually, you know, I don't know, maybe 2 years, maybe 4 years, maybe 6 years down the road, we'll look at those same deer then and go, dude, put a bullet in that.
Yeah.
You know, but now it's, you know, I don't see any reason to, you know, put a number of those guys on the ground.
Yeah, and that being said, we got 22 does to take because we've taken no does, right? And we're starting
one. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. One doe
pop shot
down,
one.
and then we've got 21 to go, and we're just really getting into the rut.
Dude,
so we're kind of running late.
But it's so hot. You know what I mean? The weather is not right. The deer aren't moving. We're not seeing the mature, older does, the ones that
Right.
you know, it's beneficial to take out of the herd. We're looking at, you know, all the young up and comers.
Right.
Exactly what we've tried to get is a new crop of, you know, a little better genetic in a younger deer, and that's all we're seeing. How do you justify shooting that?
You can't.
Yeah, so
you're just kind of sitting there.
yeah, we may be making a mad dash at the end.
Right.
You know, and you know what? If we hit our number, great, and if we don't,
well, you just carry it over next year. You know, we
yeah.
tried last year to hit that number, and based on what we saw when we did the helicopter survey, you know, it was too green. We didn't get near the amount of deer that we should have seen,
correct,
along with what we took out last year.
correct.
But along those lines, you know, if we carry a few more over, you know,
It's not
we're doing the best we can.
Correct.
You can't rush Mother Nature, and you can only do so much.
Dude, I'm not gonna shoot a deer that I'm marginal on, just because
You got to get a number.
got to get a number. Not gonna do it.
Right.
Not gonna do it.
Hey, man, we're just sitting here talking about little deer herd management, so I hit the record button right in the middle of that. But I just figured, hey, man, I get a lot of people to send in emails saying they're interested in hearing about what we do out here, and we're just trying to raise big deer, and it's all native South Texas deer. We don't have any DMV pens. We're not breeding deer. They're all, and none of them are scientific deer. So that's what we're talking about. But let's get into some questions you guys sent in to the email for the show, questions@steveaustonshow.com. And the first one's appropriate, Ted, because it says, hey, Steve, I'm loving all the episodes so far with you and Ted Fowler 361 on Twitter. So I was wondering how you guys met in the first place, and you eventually started working on the BSR together. Hell, Teddy, I'll break that story down real quick because that's a long story short. You and I were introduced by a cat that we're no longer friends with.
Correct.
But you and me remain friends some 8 years later.
Correct.
And we drank a lot of damn whiskey and vodka and beer out here together.
Yes, sir.
And now we're in a process where we're trying to get our ass in shape. I tell you what, if we'd have saved the bottles from all the damn whiskey bottles and stuff that we drank out here since the time we known each other, we would be able to make a Hubble telescope.
Change the name of this place to Betty Ford South.
Betty Ford South. Goddamn, that's a goddamn. The BFS. It's close to the BSR. The BFS. I'm coming to you as Steve Austin, coming to you from the Betty Ford South, down here in Tilden, Texas. But anyway, he goes on to ask, and this is from Tim. Tim, thank you for the question. He says, is that damn woodpecker still trying to put a hole in your house? Tim, woodpecker had an accident. He's quiet now. He's going to have a cousin or a brother or an uncle or something come over and start eating on the house again. Teddy, how many patches you put over? Ted is a carpenter by trade, owns a construction company. Ted Fowler Construction down in Rockport, Texas. Y'all heard me say it before, hiring giraffe pussy. But if you want a job done and done right the first time, give this motherfucker a call. Teddy, how many patches you put up on either side of these damn houses?
I've probably got 7 or 8 of them on the north end of the house, and a number of them still in the shed ready to go.
But you have patches that you put on a hole, and they shoot through the patches.
Or they go right next to it. They go right where the patch ends. Because remember, I made those patches out of hardy board,
right,
which is that cement fiber product. So they probably hit that a few times with their beak and said bullshit and moved a couple of steps to the right, found good wood, and in they went.
Good wood. Boy, there's a segue to a Cialis or a Viagra commercial. Hey, before I keep going on about the woodpecker, you ever see these damn Cialis and Viagra commercials? These motherfuckers now are starting to get, they showed a couple and out there doing something, and, it's kind of a little flirty deal, the older age couples, because you don't need the Viagra or Cialis when you're a damn kid.
Right.
And, they got a little spark in their eye like, oh, yeah. So dude got a little tingle, now you want to get some pussy. It's like, oh, man. And, the thing about the Viagra and the Cialis commercials, they last forever. I mean, goddamn, I can start watching the Cialis commercial. By the time it's over, I'll need to take a piss. It's like, how about just a 20-second spot? Cialis, it'll help you fuck longer and harder.
Not as long as this commercial, but it'll help you go long.
But that goddamn, going back to that woodpecker, Teddy, when you patch him holes up before that one had an accident, when that woodpecker comes back and he finds that the hole he's been drilling and really already has it circled out and it's
Correct.
done, and you put that patch over, those things start squalling. They are madder than a motherfucker. They come out there and beaked and pecked their little head off, and all of a sudden there's a patch on the hole that they cut in my house.
Correct.
And boy, it breaks their fucking hearts.
Boy,
and I'm in there like, I'm about to put me on a damn cheerleader skirt and grab a set of pom-poms. I'm in there like, fuck you, you sorry son of a bitch. You tearing up my property out here.
At that point, we let loose little fireworks.
Boy, I tell you what, you damn right we do. Here's the thing, Teddy. Here's what concerns me. We've got rats out here on performance-enhancing drugs. Right now, the size of the holes those woodpeckers have been cutting in my house, I don't think they're on performance-enhancing drugs. But if those motherfuckers get on the gas, we're going to have a serious issue.
They team up with the rats. We'll start.
But just that in and of itself, I mean, you get that damn woodpecker, all of a sudden, that motherfucker gets on a cycle of D-ball and test. You've got about a 20-pound woodpecker chipping on your house. Teddy, you ever fucked with a 20-pound woodpecker?
No, I have not.
I'm telling you right, mister. I'd rather fight a damn great white shark than a 20-pound woodpecker. Hey, let's get to a few questions here. That's a bunch of bullshit. All right, here's a quick question. Teddy, I tried to ask you this last night, but we was watching Monday Night Raw, and it said if you was a pro wrestler or sports entertainer, whatever you want to call it, first of all, Teddy, what would you be, a wrestler?
I'd be a wrestler.
You'd be a wrestler?
Yeah.
Okay, what would your finisher be, and what would your gimmick be?
Man, I thought about that as well. I think I'd do like a scoop slam. You know what I mean? Grab one hand up by his shoulder, the other one down by the old crotch regions, and just flop them over. And
Scoop slam. We watched the match last night, and Goldust and Stardust was working with was it the Usos or was it the New Day? Anyway, Dustin has that quick power slam.
They were New Day.
Yeah. Goldust always had that quick power slam.
Dude, very, very quick.
Yeah.
Very quick.
And it's not like Dustin's the strongest human being in the world. It's all technique.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, the power slam looks like it's so easy, but it's not. So many guys fuck that up. It's a real basic move.
Right.
But you get a guy coming off the ropes, and all of a sudden, man, it could just go to complete discombobulation. You can jack a guy up, and it looks like shit. He's got to go in.
Now, there was a very athletic move on his part because, you probably knew it was coming. I didn't. And just that quick. He grabbed him, scooped him, and, slammed him.
Yeah.
And it was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
And he's not the biggest, most stoutest guy.
No.
We met him backstage.
Yeah, you met him backstage. Yeah. And right now, Dustin's just a cunt hair younger than me, probably 2 years, 3 years at the most. And he's moving better than he ever moved before in his life. And I remember wrestling him back when I went to WCW. I had been in the business about a year and a half in the USWA. And all of a sudden, man, I met Dustin down at Sportatorium in Dallas, Texas. And my mother went to high school with Dusty in Austin, Texas. Me and Dustin were born in the same hospital. And you started shooting the shit with him back in the day, and who would have figured that our paths would cross, literally about a year and a half later in WCW. And we loved working with each other, man. Hard, physical matches. A lot of times, getting some color out there.
Right.
Carrying blades. And then these are just house shows on the road. And, dude, when you got the liberty or the freedom to just go to the agent, and I'll never forget this. I told this story before, but I believe it was Phoenix, Arizona, your hometown.
Right.
And we was in Phoenix. House was kind of the shits as it was back in the day. And Grizzly Smith, Jake the Snake Roberts' father, was the agent who was the guy running the show. And Dustin goes up to Grizz. He goes, "Hey, Grizz, you mind me and Steve get some color?" There was no reason for it.
Right.
We just like to, do that.
Yeah.
And Grizz goes, yeah, that might be good. So, hell, there goes me and Dustin back in the back. And, he's making his blade, I'm making mine, doing our thing, and went out there. And it looked like a couple of damn stuck pigs come out from under the damn ring. I remember walking back. And Lex Luger was still in territory back in. And I was walking in the dressing room, and he was walking out. And he come by me. And, of course, nobody would assume out in Phoenix, Arizona, on a house show, anybody's going to be getting any color on purpose unless it was a hard way. And so he looked at me like it was the shock of a lifetime. And I said, "Hey, man, what's going on?" Went on inside, and he went out there and did his thing. But I always enjoyed working with Dustin. And one other story about Dustin Rhodes. When I first came into WWF way back in the day, and I was a ringmaster, me and Dustin traveled together and staying in the shitbox motels, the cheapest things we could find, and drinking beer. And he was Gold Dust at the time. I mean, the Gold Dust had the heat on him.
Yeah.
I was telling you about this. Did you watch back then?
I remember back
You remember
then.
how much heat he had?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, he was working on top with Shawn Michaels every single night. And, of course, Dustin can work like a motherfucker, and so can Shawn Michaels, one of the greatest in the history of the business. And so was Dustin. And they're out there just killing it. Shawn's over like a motherfucker as a baby. Gold Dust is hotter than hell as a heel. And he would play up that character. And I was his riding partner, so I would probably have gone on about, mid-card. So I'd already done showered up, and I was watching the matches. And those people, you talked about the old days when they would ride. Talk about real heat back in the day when you could get stabbed going to and from the ring. Right. It was that kind of heat. And then, man, just so many people complained because of the nature of the character. Back in the day, I guess it was pushing the envelope, or maybe he was. He was so fantastic at the gimmick. It's unbelievable. That's when they chopped the legs out from under it, and they kind of shut him down. And I always felt bad for him because here was a dude trying to break out of his dad's shadow, and he found that as Gold Dust. Because when he first came in down there in Texas, he was, Dustin Rhodes, and he had on, the red trunks, the blue trunks, and the cowboy boots like his daddy wore.
Right.
And, of course, it looks like him. That's his son. And so now when he comes up with Gold Dust, I mean, main event status, star status, working motherfucker, and they chopped the gimmick out from underneath him. I really felt bad that happened to him.
Dude, I mean, isn't that the whole premise is to try to cross the line? You know what I mean? With his character, getting everybody fired up. That's the whole creative process. I mean, that's what you want to do is evoke a reaction out of the crowd.
And Vince, they were doing that, and Vince recognized it. And Vince was a big proponent of the gimmick. And I don't know whose idea that was. I don't know if that was Dustin's creation, Vince Russo, or Vince McMahon's creation. But everybody was on board.
Whose idea was it to shut it down?
It was just all the complaints that they were getting in from the various groups.
The moral majority speaks out?
Because the people that it was offending.
Yeah.
And this was back in the day. And, man, I'm a fan of, everybody. I'm a fan of gay marriage, gay rights. But a lot of the people were complaining.
All right.
So it got shut down. But I always felt bad that happened. But, goddamn, how did we get segued onto this? Oh, yeah, we was talking about the Power Slam. You're finished. And when I segued off into a Dustin Rhodes tangent. Anyway, Dustin, travel safe. You're always one of my favorite guys to work with. Okay, so tell me what the gimmick would be. We got you finished. It's a scoop slam.
Well, dude, at this age, I'm good for one scoop slam, and then I'd lay there and say, go ahead, go for the cover, man. I'm done.
But what's the gimmick going to be? You going to be you go out there with a nail gun and a hammer, or what you going to do?
No, dude, that'd just be like a well-groomed mountain man.
Man,
not a cat from the city.
You talking about like you talking about the dude off the Bounty paper towels?
Yeah, but not a lumberjack. I don't get in plaid stuff.
Dude, don't get hot at me. I'm just trying to help you get shit, man. I'm good for you. I introduced you to Terry and Julie, the two girls who make
yeah.
all the WWE superstar stuff. Now, Sandra, you didn't get a chance to meet her. But Terry used to make all my stuff. She's the one with the red hair who's charged way too much for price, lower end quality. No, I'm just kidding. I love those two girls, and they're the best in the world at making wrestling stuff. They're so talented. But, man, she could work something up for you that wasn't plaid.
Dude, I like something in a light camo pattern with the sleeves on. Not
You talking
light.
about some kind of metrosexual or
No,
Hunter outdoor? I'm just trying to help a brother out. I don't know.
No,
I mean,
dude,
because you know.
you can be an outdoorsman and be clean cut.
Yeah,
fairly
you
clean
can.
shaven, get a few more tattoos, so you still got that rough edge.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I couldn't grow a beard or a goatee, man. It just doesn't happen. They changed my name to Patches. We saw that last year with the beard growth. Woo.
Dude, that was a rugged beard you grew last year. Man, that son which was hell. And every time we went to Super Walmart, you had trim all over you. They didn't know I was Steve Austin. Who's that? Did a movie star come into town? That's old Patches McGillicuddy.
Yeah, those dark shades sure help out.
So, what about
No, dude, I wouldn't be a lumberjack guy. I'd just be an outdoorsman. Just camo, rough.
So you're saying
and
outdoorsman to cover all the bases. You can do a little
Correct.
lumberjack, you can do a little bit of hunting, do a little bit of fishing.
little linesman,
You're trying to open up that damn demographic.
I'm looking for a big
You're like a sports
demographic.
entertainer.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
like a sports entertainer.
Yep.
Vince McMahon would love you. Why don't you pitch that gimmick? Teddy, you're 48 years old. You still got a run left in you.
Yeah.
You've never been in
bet.
a squared circle, so you ain't got no miles.
Nope. Fresh as a kitten, ready to
I'll
go.
tell you what. Here's let me get a request right here. Austin to WWE headquarters. Austin to WWE headquarters. Send me down a 20 by 20 squared circle. We're going to put it up at the barn here at the Broken Skull Ranch, where I will teach Ted Fowler the sport of professional wrestling, the ins and outs of how you do this business. We're going to start off, Teddy, hitting the ropes. We're going to start off doing some tumbling drills. Start off doing some flat back bumps and just teach you the basics. Then we'll get into a little bit of chain wrestling. We'll worry about you working, punch, and all that other bullshit later, and then maybe work on a drop kick. Can you throw a drop kick? You got a vertical leap, Teddy?
Not much of one. No, I'm more of a ground-oriented type of guy.
That's a good call. You ain't a spring chicken.
No,
I think you got a couple years on the road in you, but you ain't a spring chicken, so we'll leave the drop kick. I introduced you to Arn Anderson the other day when we were at Tulsa, and I told you the story when I threw a drop kick in a tag match with Brian Pillman, and Arn Anderson blistered me unmercifully after the match because my drop kick was so damn low.
Yeah, a little bit low.
That was the last drop kick I ever threw my entire career. I probably wrestled Teddy 9 years after he cussed me out and told me how shitty that drop kick was, and we can't have you right out of the gate throw a lame drop kick because we got to get you over. But here's the thing: we get you into the WWE system. Are you going to be afraid to grab for the brass ring?
No, dude. I want to be a heel. I'll be the dirty guy. I'll cheat. I'm not afraid to cheat.
So you'll be the heel.
Yeah, you betcha. I'll be the guy everybody hates and the guy all the women want. Hello.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hello,
this
you.
motherfucker's he's always thinking about getting some pussy. He heard me say, I heard tell, that if you was a pro wrestler, you might get some pussy. All right, Teddy. Here we go. Let's move on to the next one. Hey, Stone Cold, is there anything worn or carried into the ring is fair game for destruction, such as JBL's cowboy hat, Flair's robe, Bret Hart's biker jacket, suits, and other things? Some stuff gets tossed around on purpose, and sometimes it looks accidental. And that's coming from the Night Train in Oak City. Almost anything that goes into the ring is fair game, but, those expensive robes that Ric Flair wore, you wouldn't destroy one of those unless you had clearance from Ric Flair or clearance from Ric Flair and the promotion because he was going to buy Rick another one. That's off limits. You don't do that. You could really piss a guy off by fucking up his stuff. Like a guy's trademark hat. I don't think anybody would ever grab the cowboy hat that Stan Hansen wore to the ring and demolish it. Because if you did that, there's a damn good chance that once that bell rings, Stan Hansen is going to whip your fucking ass. Now, way back in the day when I was Stone Cold, I was working with Jerry the King Lawler, and he always had that crown out there in the ring. And a couple of times I took that crown and punted it into the crowd. Well, I wasn't even thinking. I was just thinking for the pop, because it was so natural for me to do that kind of thing. But Jerry came up to me, and we was going to do something again. He goes, "Hey, Steve, would you mind not kicking the crown into the crowd, because those things cost me about $400 or $500. I was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry, Jerry, because I got a lot of respect for the King. You got a chance to meet him the other day.
Yeah,
that's a badass dude, man. Cool. Jerry Lawler drew a lot of goddamn money, and a lot of people don't understand that. One of the greatest workers of all time, and great psychology. So that's how that works, man. If someone's cool with you fucking with their gimmick, you can. But obviously, if you're not, if it ain't cool or if it ain't set up, it ain't fair game. Hey, Teddy, here's a question. It pertains to your business and my business as well, entertainment, and yours building. Hey, Steve, my name is Lamar. I'm from Chicago, and my question is, how about you and Ted do a TV show where you enter his world and you guys do some construction jobs together? I think it would be some real good TV. What's your opinion? Lamar. So I think, Teddy, I guess we would roll up on a Ted Fowler construction job site, and there's your trailer parked in front behind your truck, and I'm trying to help you out, but basically I just fuck a bunch of shit up, and they're filming it.
I'd let you go in and start the demo. You tear everything up, and then, I don't know, go over there in the corner and do push-ups. Let me fix it all up.
Wouldn't it be great, though? I'm good at tearing shit up. I could tear up a fucking anvil. Wouldn't it be good, though, if we was trying to go in there and build something, and I was trying to keep something square or whatever as you do in building, and you know the people, the owners, come over and they're checking out the progress, and I'm over just beating the flying shit out of stuff. That would be a pretty good. If we could do like a hidden camera type thing. Did you ever see what was that show called? Was that Borat who used to do that? You remember Borat?
Yeah, I remember.
Did you ever watch it?
Sasha Cohen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he used to do all that stupid shit.
Yeah.
That guy was a fucking genius.
I think that's classic.
Dude,
classic.
That dude was so goddamn smart, and he never broke character.
No. Like that Andy Kaufman-ish.
Yeah.
You know, with the going to character and stay in it no matter what.
I got it. What I'll do is I'll get a wig, and I'll get one in ponytails, and then I'll be like your assistant from Sweden, and I don't speak any English.
Speak no English.
Do Sweden people speak English, or do they speak Sweden? That's a good question.
Dude, I don't know.
Is it what's the language they speak over in Sweden? Well, I got to go to the next question. I just proved how dumb I am. I don't know what language they speak. Swedish. Is Swedish a language?
I did once again.
I
Don't
better
prove
call
how
my
dumb
wife.
I am.
God damn. Fuck, I'm right in the middle of a goddamn roll here, caffeined up. You know, I even took an Alpha Brain. Since I took my Alpha Brain, I ought to know the answer to that question.
One would think.
I'm going to send my damn bottle and get my money back. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding on it. I dig the stuff. You know what? I got the Swiss Superman Cesaro's phone number. I'm going to call that summit up and ask him what language they speak over, because he speaks like 6 languages.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's real, very well versed, a lot more educated than us.
Now, why would you speak 6 languages? I mean, I always want to learn Spanish because we're down in South Texas, and so it would come in handy, But so I would like to speak that, but man,
dude,
I'm too fucking stupid.
Think about it. You're in a restaurant, first date. Hello. Pop some of that stuff out.
Oh, you're talking impressive.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, fuck, I might bust out with some French. Dude, nobody would understand you in South Texas with some French. They wouldn't know what the fuck you're talking about.
No, dude, but even at that, that's a feather in your cap right there, because a girl's
so
sitting there
thinking pussy
going,
right now.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Pussy with the pro wrestling, pussy with the second language.
Dude, the deer may
Is the pussy exponential for every language you know on top of that?
Deer may not be in the rut, but I am. See how my neck's getting all swollen up?
Damn. Cesaro speaking 6 languages. That motherfucker got a pussy crawling all over him.
What?
I can't speak to that. I don't know if the young man is married or nothing like that. I'll shut the fuck up. I won't get this cat in trouble. 6 languages, do the math.
Dude, I don't think his wife would listen to the show.
He don't listen to the show. Here's one. This is a true story, and you were with me when this one happened. Hey, Steve, I have a fellow oilfield buddy who told me a story a few years back about the time that Stone Cold Steve Austin chased his ass down and ran him off the Broken Skull Ranch. He tells the story like it's a feather in his cap, saying, the only man that could ever kick me off a job was Stone Cold himself. I always thought he was full of shit, but you briefly mentioned a similar story a few episodes back, and we all got a good laugh out of it. I was wondering if you could give his sorry ass a piece of your mind. He'll be listening. Thanks, Steve. Loved the podcast. And that's Mike from the oil fields of Tilden, Texas. Teddy, you remember how that went down?
I do.
You and I were driving down that road where they got the frac tank now.
Correct.
You and I were driving down that road, and all of a sudden on that west fence line, a truck goes zooming by.
Correct.
It was going at least 50.
Correct.
At least. The speed limit posted on this ranch is 20 miles per hour. Most of the time when I'm driving on the ranch, I'm going 10 or 15 just because I just creep around everywhere unless I'm in a hurry, and then I'll speed it up a little bit. He comes through here hauling ass, and I said, oh, fuck this motherfucker. We're going to chase him down. They got over that site. There we were right behind them. I wish I'd had a blue light and a red light on that Polaris Ranger. I approached the vehicle. You couldn't hear because you were a little bit of distance away. Could you hear? Or did
No,
you?
I couldn't hear, but I knew what was coming.
Yeah.
I've
And man,
been around it.
I chewed this guy's ass for about 10 minutes. And when I first asked him, I said, hey, dude, I said, what the fuck you think you're doing? Hauling ass on my ranch like that. The fucking speed limit's 20. And he goes, I wasn't going 20. I said, there ain't no way you was going 20. It ain't like I got a radar detector, but I'm not a fucking idiot either. Don't ask my wife that. I knew the summits was just driving through my ranch like a bat out of hell. So anyway, I had that come to Jesus meeting with him, and it didn't come to blows or anything like that. But Mike, over there in the oil fields of Tilden, Texas, that was when I was kind of new to the oil field explosion out here, and as of since, I've smoothed off a few edges, and I'm not such a rough and tumble cat anymore. Actually, the oil field has been really good out here. At first, there's a lot of trash out here, trying to get used to the all-weather roads, but it's been all well and good. And swig of beer for all the oil field people out there in South Texas and wherever you're at. I know you guys work your ass off. Anytime I'm going up into town on 16, or Teddy when you're on 72, I mean, this fucking place is overrun with oil field people now.
Did you remember when you first saw when you first got here and they were drilling and it was going to be the first time that you saw the rig? You remember that?
Yeah.
We fixed those drinks, went over there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What happened?
Dude, you wanted to see the rig. You had got in from L.A., you and Kristen, and we loaded up. Well, first we made a cocktail, which is always a good idea. Loaded up on the buggy and went over there, and I was riding shotgun. You drove right up next to the fucking rig. And I was like, dude, man, should we be this close? And you said, hey, I own the fucking ranch. And you shut her down. And, I mean, we are 15 yards from the actual deal spinning around and the pipes clanking and all that. And all them people saw us and came running out in them hard hats.
What happened?
They escorted us to the back and said, yes, sir, while you do own the place, we'd appreciate if you kept a safe distance. We're sitting there with a couple of Jack. You got a Crown and Coke, I got a Jack and Coke. It's like, yeah, dude, we're cool. We're not going to get hurt.
I vaguely remember that. I did remember telling a guy, I own this place.
Yeah.
But he was very nice with his retort.
He was very cool about it.
He wasn't trying to be a smart ass or nothing. But, man, at that point, because, man, I'm a surface owner.
Right.
It's not like I'm getting rich off oil field money, and it's a pain in the ass. But anyway, when you drive on the Broken Skull Ranch or any of these ranches out here in South Texas, wherever you may be, slow down, obey the speed limit, pick up your trash. To all of you guys that come out here to the BSR, I appreciate your cooperation. And, hey, man, once again, I know how hard you guys work, and stay safe on the road and be careful on them rigs. Here's one, Teddy. Hey, Steve, Hulk Hogan has said that he had no clue that you and The Rock were coming out for that in-ring promo at the start of WrestleMania 30. When you interrupted his promo, did you know The Rock was going to interrupt yours? Wheelchair Willie. Wheelchair Willie, Hogan's full of shit. He knew I was coming out to interrupt that promo. Shit, we was in a gorilla position backstage, laughing and joking for 20 minutes. And me and Rock were laughing when he said it was a Silver Dome. And then we did the setup where I'd call it the Silver Dome too. And then Rock would come out and correct both of us and call it the Super Dome. So, yeah, Hogan knew that we was back there. Hogan knew that I was going to interrupt. And I knew that Rock was going to interrupt me. But what I didn't know, Teddy, was going into WrestleMania 30 when they called me and said, hey, how about doing this spot, that they told me that it would be Hogan, Rock, Stone Cold. When I got there, it was Hogan, Stone Cold, Rock.
Right.
Well, I didn't pitch a bitch. You know, it was WrestleMania. I wanted to do my thing, not make any waves. Let the young talent shine, have their 30. They've been working all year. Just go out there, do my thing, catch a couple of brewskis, pop a top, guzzle a few, and have fun. And it was an epic opening for a WrestleMania 30. But, hey, again, I'm ragging Hogan. I got a lot of respect for the guy. But, of course, he knew that I was coming out there. And, of course, I knew that the great one, the most electrifying man in the history of sports entertainment, was coming out as well. Hey, man, we're going to take a little break, a little pause for the cause, a word for our sponsors, the people who keep this show on the air for free. I'm coming right back. I'm answering your questions at the Broken Skull Ranch with my buddy, Ted Fowler 361. All right, gang, how'd you like to win some serious cash this very weekend? Yeah, I thought that might sound good to you. Then you better get yourself to DraftKings.com and enter the $10 million Fantasy Football World Championship. And if you use my promo code Steve, you can enter for free. You heard me right. Use my promo code Steve at DraftKings.com and get a free shot at becoming the world's next millionaire. That's right, I said free. So go to DraftKings.com now, use my promo code Steve, and get free entry into their $10 million Fantasy Football World Championship. DraftKings.com. Bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. All right, y'all know that Diamond Dallas Page is a close personal friend of mine, and that's why he's offering all you Steve Austin Show listeners a special deal on his DDP Yoga. Now, this ain't your mama's yoga, gang. This is a high-octane yoga, and it's a cardio workout that's easy on your joints. DDP Yoga helps build strength and flexibility, and it's a great workout choice for people of all ages and skill levels. You ain't got to be an athlete or a professional wrestler to do DDP Yoga, though I know a lot of them who swear by the program do. And right now, DDP is giving all you an incredible deal on the Max Pack, and all you have to do is go to ddpyoga.com/Austin. So here's what you get when you order the Max Pack. You get 15 workouts, you get a nutrition guide, you get recipes, you get a grid chart to track your workouts, and you get a poster to help you remember the 12 core positions that make up DDP Yoga. Now, I know I've said it before, but this really is a great program if you're just trying to get back into shape or if you're trying to get in shape. All you have to do is commit. Take advantage of this special deal. Go to ddpyoga.com/Austin. That's ddpyoga.com/Austin. Don't wait. This offer is only available for a limited time. ddpyoga.com/Austin. All right, here we go once again, Rolling Sound with Ted Fowler over at the Broken Skull Ranch. Teddy, we got a question, and it's about one of your favorites. My question has to do with Shane McMahon. I've heard everyone from Tony Atlas to Kurt Angle to others say that Shane is as tough as they come in the business. Not necessarily from an I will kick your ass standpoint, but from a standpoint of being able to take a large amount of punishment and keep going. Sort of Mick Foley-esque. You worked a lot with Shane during the Austin McMahon feud in the Alliance, then even some after that, and I was wondering if, judging by his in-ring work, you would agree with that. Also, do you think he is underrated as a performer, considering that for his lack of in-ring experience, he has had a lot of great, memorable matches? Thanks for reading and all your entertainment over the years, and that comes from Jason. Man, Shane was a ball of energy. Whether you were talking to him backstage, just chilling out, Shane was one of those high-energy guys. And in the ring, absolutely fearless. Great sense of humor. Me and Shane got along from Jump Street as soon as I met the guy. And I think he's a little bit of a thrill seeker, man. He's a little bit of an adrenaline junkie. And there ain't nothing he won't do. I mean, obviously Shane's a smart cat. He's not stupid. But, I mean, that's somebody ain't afraid of nothing. Teddy, I hit the pause button a while ago because I was going to ask you if you had any Shane memories. So you dug the cat a lot.
Yeah, I did. And, I mean, he had an uphill battle with his old man being who he was. You know, but you're absolutely right, man. I think the kid was very underrated as a talent, not as a wrestler per se, but as a performer, as a talent. And you know what? You're absolutely right. Kid had big balls, wasn't afraid of anything. I mean, he'd get out there and do anything. The way he'd sell the stunner and, you know, just get knocked around from, you know, not having the big training background, but to get out there and, you know, be ballsy enough to do it and to do it well, not be timid when he's selling it. Yeah, very underrated.
Here's the thing about Shane. I mean, you know, hell, I mean, he's Vince's he's fourth generation. pro wrestler, or come from the sports entertainment business. Let me correct myself. So a lot of that he absorbed by osmosis, just being around the product for many years.
I agree.
And also hanging out in the back. I remember him telling me hanging out with Andre the Giant and all those legends from yesteryear, along with the guys that, he came up with before me, my era. I mean, Shane was there. So, I mean, just by watching and living and breathing, the outside part of the business, but being on the inside, I think he had a good 411 for everything that was going on. And, he did have some great and some memorable moments and matches. And every time he went out there, he was looking to knock it out of the park with the bases loaded, and I always respected that about Shane.
I think he had a good insight to the mental aspect of the game. But you know what? I've been hanging out with you for 8 years. We have spoken in depth about the wrestling game. You put me in a headlock, dude, I got two reactions. I can either, give in or go get a gun and start shooting. Just because I'm hanging out with you doesn't necessarily,
Right.
provide me with the physical stuff. I think the
Yeah.
kid, I think he was dead nuts with what he was doing.
Yeah, everybody dug Shane. He was
Yeah.
one of the favorite guys in the dressing room, and that's real deal. Everybody dug Shane, and everybody knew that. I mean, he was coming up on a hard trail, following his old man's
Correct.
footsteps. So
Correct.
that dude's in between a rock and a hard place. So I mean, he pushed himself to the limits. I think he always did his whole life. And in school, I know he was a hell raiser. And in the business, in the wrestling business, I mean, he was a wild dude too. I mean, smart dude. Everybody dug him. Check this one out, Teddy. We were talking about Monday Night Raw in the opening segment. Here's one that comes in from Scotland, all the way over in Scotland. I wonder if it's by Glasgow, and it comes from Ross. He says, after watching the NXT pay-per-view this week, I was blown away. 2 hours of pure old-school pro wrestling. I watched Raw, and on a 3-hour format, there was 32 minutes of in-ring wrestling. Within that time, they had Charlotte debut and lose via Schoolboy in 2 minutes. If the same people are producing NXT and the main shows, why is NXT so popular and the main product so out of touch? Interesting question from Ross over in Scotland. Now, you haven't seen NXT,
No, sir.
But they wrestle a lot. I've seen a little bit of it, and they have some really talented young kids coming up over there. To address the 3-hour format and the 32 minutes of in-ring wrestling, I can speak to that because you were timing Monday Night Raw last night, and we were some hours in, and every time I would ask you, a minute 4, a minute 45, 2:07 in, you kept giving me time codes and how many matches. Now, we weren't timing the actual in-ring matches, but it wasn't a whole lot of in-ring wrestling. Once they got into that main event in the ring between Seth Rollins and John Cena, holy smokes, Katie barred the door. It was everything but the kitchen sink in a hellacious match. But up until that point, man, not a whole lot of in-ring wrestling. Hey, and this isn't a knock on the boys or the girls. That's just, they're just being told what to do. But from a management standpoint, again, I think this speaks to people want more wrestling.
Dude, that'll give us something to do next Monday. Let's watch Raw again and put a timer on it, see how much in-ring action we got. Now, that being said, I have not seen a second of an NXT.
Right.
But you know what? The 2 hours already appeals to me over the 3.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see it because it's got a buzz, and I think, once again, man, I haven't seen any of it, but I would venture to say the promos are considerably less focus is put on that and more focus on the athleticism of the young wrestlers. Get them in the ring, show their stuff, and we'll work on their speaking skills.
But I heard the promo's pretty damn good over there.
Yeah, but I mean, not a 30-minute. You can't have a 30-minute promo in a 2-hour program.
No. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's move right along. I appreciate the email all the way from Scotland. Here's a good one. This comes from Thomas. Do you think John Cena, the man, not the gimmick, would have been a success if he was in the Attitude Era? Boy, I'll tell you what, that's a damn good question, because if he was in the Attitude Era, he would have been pushed to the absolute limits. And I always say this, and I'm not blowing smoke up my own ass. People always ask me about one more match, and I'm not selling one. I'm just talking about one. There's nobody who could get something out of Cena more than Stone Cold Steve Austin, because I would push him to the nth degree from a promo standpoint and also in the ring. But John Cena in the ring can go like nobody's business. He's very strong. He has wind for days, and he never blows up. I'm talking about pushing him from a promo character standpoint. So he would have really been tested in the Attitude Era. But he's so good, he's so over now, and he's so talented, and he's driven so much. Yeah, I think John would have been absolutely phenomenal in the Attitude Era, and he would have adjusted or gauged himself accordingly and flown by the seat of his pants and done whatever he needed to do to accomplish the task at hand. And that's, fighting for a spot on the main roster, fighting for a spot on the main event. Yeah, I think he would have thrived, and I think he would have done well. Teddy, you saw the Attitude Era. You watched from your television set. You hear me talk about the physicality that the guy just brings, not from just a wrestling on a what he brings to the ring in a match, but what he brings to the business in terms of his durability and his wanting to go. And when I referenced the pay-per-view, the TLC pay-per-view, then the cage match with Seth Rollins, but he's been doing this for years. So seeing what you've seen out of John, seeing what you saw out of the Attitude Era, do you think he would have succeeded?
I think he would be much more successful than he is today. And he's successful today, but I think being a babyface and being his size, which I want my wrestlers big and bulky. That's the way they should be. You take a guy like Cena, good, stout, tough as nails kid, very well put together, very well spoken, clean cut. Match him up against a badass heel, and that would just create so much fire, with the wrestler that can give as good as as he can take. Man, just perfect.
It would have been perfect because he would have fit right into. John Cena is certainly a lot better put together than I am, but from a weight standpoint, in our prime, about the same weight. Rock in the same ball game. All the guys from DX, same ballpark. Taker could work with Taker, could have worked with Kane, could have worked with Mick Foley. I mean, all the dance partners that he's missing now in a war of attrition. There's a lack of top guys, and there's so few of them that they've done it over and over and over again, with Randy Orton and some of those other guys. But he would have had so many dance partners, he would have been in heaven. If you could pluck him out right now, put him in a time capsule, and go back that 15 years and place the John Cena that we're seeing right now, right in the middle of the Attitude Era, that would be fun as fuck.
Oh, because he would have opponents that are on the same level that he's on,
if not higher.
Yeah.
You've got to understand the explosion that was the Attitude Era. But yes, playing in the same park.
Oh yeah, no, dude. I think that era.
Yeah.
I'll say
I say that with respect to John Cena.
Oh, dude.
Well, you're talking about the hottest era in the history of the business.
I think that era was a lot more entertaining. It was sure more captivating than it is nowadays. But you put Cena, against you in a match where you're needling him and doing all of that on his clean cut stuff, man, it's off the chart.
Yeah.
It's just as good as, you and Rock.
Yeah, it would have been. So, yeah, man, I think it would have thrived. I appreciate the question sent in there, Thomas. Let's go down here, Teddy. And, Teddy, here's a mechanical question. You've been trying to work on your mechanic skills out there fiddling with your Polaris Rangers in the shop right now. You couldn't quite solve the problem there, but check this out. See if we can give any advice to Derek. He's from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and he says, you have stated on many occasions how frugal you are. My question is, I have a 2005 Chevy Silverado that I plan on driving until it dies. But when it does, do you think I'm better off trying to rebuild the engine, or should I just put a new engine in? Thanks for all the entertainment. Derek Del Mar. Teddy, you take first crack at this one. Rebuild the old engine, or just go get a crate motor?
Man, if you have the knowledge and the experience to rebuild it yourself, do that. Do that. Stay with the original motor, just tear it apart, rebuild it, put it back together. I don't think that the new replacement products are built not so much to the same standards, but with the same lifespan expectancy that the older stuff had.
Man, you think they got some damn good crate motors coming out of some of these factories these days.
Dude, look at that John Deere tractor out there. How old's that thing?
The John Deere?
Yeah, John Deere.
Man, shit. Man, I've had that tractor almost 20 years.
What do we do to it?
Nothing.
And what happens when you sit down on it and turn the key?
It starts.
And you put it in, first gear and let the clutch out, and away you go. Never a problem. Same thing with the Komoda. Thing's tough as nails. But it's not as old as a John Deere, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But let's check this out, Derek. I didn't do a breakdown. I just copied and pasted all these questions right here on my computer screen. I didn't go in and see